Hello everyone, I am here to talk to you about, a new series of videos I want to at least try to do. I know I always say I'm going to do a new series of videos. I do a few of them and then I just stop altogether. But as of lately, I've kind of been thinking of ways that I can make more videos without having to put as much effort into them, which yes, makes me sound incredibly lazy, but basically what I decided to do is just a vlog series where every once in a while I can talk about a topic. Can be anything, movies, TV shows, just anything that's been on my mind lately. Just videos to make for fun and maybe for the viewers to get to know me a bit better. I'm not used to showing my face like this. I rarely ever do on this channel, and I still plan to do those heavily edited videos. Like I said, this is more of like a side thing. So I was considering what would be a good topic to discuss for this type of vlog video. I did have another topic in mind, but Netflix just released a live action adaptation of One Piece. One Piece, which I don't think I've ever mentioned before on this channel, is something I actually really enjoy. So I figured it would make for a good topic. My personal connection to One Piece actually goes back to probably even like grade school when I first started reading the manga. Actually, first I think it was the 4Kids cartoon, but that's kind of what encouraged me to start reading the manga at an early age. And I read up to like volume 73, it was like the Dressrosa arc, and then I stopped. I plan to continue reading it again sometime soon because watching the show has kind of reminded me like, oh yeah, I remember One Piece, like why did I ever stop reading that? Other than just there's a lot of it. And I think for me, it was kind of my introduction to anime and manga. Yes, there was stuff like Pokemon, but that was like the first one I watched where it really felt like it was geared towards an older audience. I say watched when I should say read because, like I said, I'm more familiar with the manga than the anime. Now, I think live action, when you're talking about adaptations, is kind of seen as like a dirty word nowadays. And I don't blame them. I get with like the live action Disney movies and stuff. Those are, for the most part, kind of god-awful, and I completely get why people dislike those. And for the most part, I think live action is more of a gimmick. It's not something that we actually need. Anyone who's familiar with animation knows that animation is more often than not like the superior art form. And that's not to say that they simply can't be good, because we have had a few that have been good. The only real like examples I can think of are Speed Racer and Alita Battle Angel. I love Speed Racer. I think everyone loves Speed Racer. Alita Battle Angel I'm not as passionate about, but I did have a lot of fun with that movie, and I would very much like to see a sequel. And of course, Netflix has been trying to do these adaptations for a while now. I think they did a Death Note movie a few years ago, which was a very westernized take on Death Note, which I think made it kind of fun. It wasn't good, but it was entertaining enough. But then you had like the recent Cowboy Bebop TV show, which you'd think, you know, how can you fuck up Cowboy Bebop? That's like as westernized as an anime can get. I only watched like 2 episodes, so I guess I don't really have a big say in it, but from what I saw, it seemed like they fucked it up pretty good. Now, of course, because of stuff like that, when I first saw the trailer for the new One Piece show, my initial thoughts were definitely negative. I thought, why does this exist? And then when I started hearing some good things about it, I was like, yeah, I'll check it out. I have nothing to lose. And after watching it, I can say that it's not amazing, but I did have a lot of fun with this show. Now, what this is it's a very faithful adaptation. Anyone who has read the manga or watched the anime is gonna watch this and probably be pretty satisfied with it. It's not like they were asking, what can we change? How will this work better in live action? It's like somebody involved just went, okay, One Piece is already perfect. There's nothing we need to change except for little adjustments here and there for time. But for the most part, it's as close as you can get to the source material in live action, which is insane, honestly. There's some great costume designs here. The sets all look gorgeous. I mean, everything is just like completely accurate. Okay, Going Merry looks a bit weird, but I mean the fact that they made that huge, like an actual Going Merry ship, as well as many other pirate ships, just for this show is insane to me. I think the budget was like 18 million per episode, which I don't know where Netflix gets this money. I mean, they're not giving us their statistics of how much they're actually making, so nobody knows. The casting in this was also great. I'd actually say that is the best aspect of this show and really what makes it kind of work. Inaki Godoy, I've never seen him in anything before. I don't know if he was a big actor like before this, but him as Luffy is just perfection. It's so weird because it's a character that you think would be really difficult to bring to live action, but somehow they just nail it. Yeah, everyone does a really good job here. I didn't have any complaints about the casting. I thought everyone brought their A game, and it was like, it felt like I was watching an adaptation where the people playing these characters actually like understood the characters, like they were already familiar with the source material. Whether or not that's true, I don't know, but it seems very likely. Now, of course, this is only 8 episodes long, so there's a lot of stuff they have to cut for time. Each character, for the most part, gets about like 2 episodes dedicated to them, so about 2 episodes per arc. And of course, this can feel kind of rushed at times, but I think anyone who's not already familiar with the source material is not really going to notice that. Now, some of the changes made are actually for good, I would say. Very few of them, but some of them. The more blatant being the decision to give Kobe like something to do. Like, he's more of a character in this, even if he's not with the Straw Hat Pirates. For what I remember, the manga just kind of does like a time skip where it shows him later after he's become a Marine, so we don't get to see his journey too much. And that's something I liked here. It seems like Kobe and Luffy had like a nice relationship that we didn't get to see as much of in the original. Now, of course, I think the most rushed thing about this is towards the last like 2 episodes when they have to fit all of Arlong Park's arc like into 2 episodes along with some other stuff, and it's just too much going on. It's kind of a clusterfuck at that point. It's not awful. I just kind of wish there was another extra like episode or 2 so they could kind of have expanded that out, but I get this stuff is expensive. What this is like a bizarre oddity. Like, I feel like I'm watching the live stage play of One Piece. It's like Shrek the Musical or something. It's mostly because of the fact that like One Piece is more cartoony than the traditional anime. Like, the fact that this actually works in live action is really surprising. And of course, there is some times when it can look really weird or throw you off. I know when they first showed Mary and he's got like the sheep wool and like a horn on his head, I was just trying not to laugh because it was just something so absolutely ridiculous. And I feel like when you're looking at a cartoon, you don't really question that as much. But when you're looking at live action, it's like, what the f is going on with this guy's head? The CG is also pretty good here. I don't know a ton about CG. I would say that this is almost on par with like a Hollywood film. It's definitely not there, but they got as close as they can considering it's a TV show. One aspect that they do have to change with it being live action is in the original, there'd be scenes where a character cries and Oda would always draw them with like these long streams of tears, snot coming out of their nose. It was just this really ugly cry, but I loved that. Like, it actually added so much emotion to each image. And here when a character cries, it's just like a single tear rolls down their cheek. It's not as impactful, but I understand it's live action. There's some stuff that you just can't do that you can do in a cartoon. There was even an Aurora song made for this, which I don't know if she's like a One Piece fan. I would assume so, but it's a pretty good song, and I'm surprised they got her for something like this. I mean, if it costs like 18 million per episode, I guess I shouldn't be too surprised. But I think my biggest question with this is what's next? Like, what's the end game here? Because there is so much of One Piece. It's been going on since I was born, and it's still going till this day. There's just no way you can actually adapt all of it into a Netflix series. My guess is either at some point it's going to be canceled, or they're gonna have to rush a conclusion and make up their own, and it's gonna suck. Also, if I want to look at this from a cynical standpoint, I think the only reason this really does exist is because you make a live action adaptation of something, people are gonna flock to it. It doesn't matter if it's good, people will still watch it. So I don't think Netflix really cares about giving this a conclusion, but I'm just hoping for the best. I guess that's really all I can do at this point. I don't know who to recommend this to because I think people that like One Piece will probably enjoy this, but then it's like you're just getting a recap of events that you've already seen. It's nothing new really, it's just kind of, like I said, a neat oddity, like seeing this stuff adapted into real life. I think if you've never watched One Piece before, you could definitely watch this and get like the gist of it. I wouldn't have anything wrong with that. It's just, it might kind of throw you off. You might be watching and be like, what is this? Overall, I wouldn't call this show anything like groundbreaking, but what it is it's fun, and sometimes that's really all a show needs to be. It was a nice trip down memory lane for someone who hasn't read those arcs of One Piece in a very long time. I'm curious to see where they're taking it in season 2, mostly because I just want to know if Tony Chopper is going to be there and how they're going to make that work. I can't see him looking that good on a TV budget, even if it is a big budget, but I don't know, best of luck, I guess. But those are all my thoughts on live action One Piece. Like I said, it's pretty alright. Go check it out if you want to. Bye.